if they dare. My path is clear but is unknown. Step aside or catch my glare. My business is my own. No need for you to stand or stare. My quest is mine to bear. I'm telling you, just mind your own. Treasure gleams in the morning light. Wanderers beware my might. I delve to dungeons deep and unknown. Hear my words, now mind your own. My business is my own. No need for you to stand or stare. My quest is mine to bear. I'm telling you, just mind your own. Be afraid of my might. I lick my paws in plain sight. Fire started by my might. My business is my own. Campfires are not enough, no. Burn it all and blame someone else. Fellow travelers or strangers know my business is my own. My business is my own. No need for you to stand or stare. My quest is mine to bear. I'm telling you, just mind your own.
Welcome to the dungeon.
It's
Here we are. A little more relaxed tonight, as some of us are a little well, I'd say all of us are a little exhausted. We've all had a lot going on, for sure. But as we get rolling, thank you, Spidey Fresh and Forkissa, for those follows on Twitch. We did have a follower on YouTube as well, but I don't see that right in my face. But thank you for that follow as well. So we've had a lot going on. It's been a busy couple weeks. This is the first time we've had Marslin with us. That's why we're not playing tonight. We want to keep the suspense going.
Well, you need to figure out when to actually introduce my character into the campaign, right?
Yeah. After your death last session.
Yeah.
Gwenton says death to Gwenton. So you never know.
Wait, he's in chat?
He is in chat.
Why isn't he on?
He's tired, man.
Because some of us like had a long drive after running D&D for people for an entire
staying up till 2 o'clock in the morning. Which can't say last time I did that.
I'm too old for that kind of nonsense.
I know, but surprisingly, like while I crashed really hard once I got to the room, like I was full of energy, and we'll talk about that here in a moment. But for some of the rest of us, Marcelin, where have you been? What have you been into?
Oh, Drees just got back from a trip out to Utah. Skiing and seeing the bison and visiting the Latter-day Saints.
I was gonna say becoming Mormon.
Yeah, I got my long underwear.
So how was the skiing? You hit any double black diamonds or?
What? Oh yeah. Did some cliff jumps, some shoots, did some double black diamonds, some trees. It was good. The mountains are big out there.
I don't.
That's actually the really cool thing. We saw Red Bull was doing an event there, so we got to see some actual Red Bull athletes sending it off of massive air. Like I'm talking like 60, 80 feet in the air doing backflips.
I just don't understand how that works because, like, how do you have a soft landing when you're doing that?
Oh, you don't. You can like feel it in your chest, the thud of them landing. I don't know how their legs
Really?
don't break. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, these people are going to get our age at some point, and they're going to have no
I mean,
knees.
if they're lucky.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Right.
I mean, there was one guy we saw, he overshot the jump and came down on the landing and just hit the ground. Both skis just immediately ejected off and he just crumpled to the ground.
Right. Pine
It was
trees in
fine.
Utah.
He stood right back up.
No,
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
No.
Those of us that were in the military, they tried pushing airborne on everybody. I don't need to jump
Right.
out of an airplane.
Right.
My knees are already jacked up. I don't need to do things once a month to screw that up even more.
Yeah. Yeah. No freaking kidding, man. Not my thing. So you've had some adventures, but you're back for the foreseeable future, right?
Yeah. I think I'm back for all of April. It's looking like it's not till June that I'm gonna maybe miss a Monday.
No,
Okay.
you got to reschedule.
yeah. Well, of course you are. It's because it's our in person.
Not till the end of June.
That's
No,
middle of June.
I would be lying, that there isn't some anxiety about that trip, but I want to make it. I'm happy making it, but like I just want to get it over with already. And I know Jeremy makes it
in-person.
all the time. Like it's just the drive, right? It's rather long, but
Dude, I'm so excited to spend like 6 hours in a car with you and Bishop. I'm ready.
you
We're gonna
say
rock
that,
out.
but there are certain parts of my physiology that you're gonna be like, Jesus, man, I can't go back with this guy.
That sounds.
Did Jeremy leave that air purifier to take in the car?
He's gonna wish it was in
Stop
there.
locking the windows.
See, Mike knows. He's experienced it firsthand.
Why do you think I sit behind your wife on trips and not behind you?
Hey, it is what it is. So me and well, and I don't know about Jeff, but I know me and Mike have been dealing with a lot of flooding. That's a thing in our area. I think you're up the hill a bit more, aren't you, Jeff? Like,
But all of my county was a swamp that got terraformed.
okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
it floods around here like crazy.
Getting a ton of rain out there?
It's been
Yeah,
raining nonstop all week, man.
It's like record levels of rain kind of
Oh,
going
wow.
on. Not only that, like those two big storm fronts pushed through here and the winds were hitting like 100 miles an hour, tornadoes, like there was a lot going on. It was a wreck. So yeah, so that's been fun. So that's Mike,
Yeah.
that's kept you busy the last week, right?
2 or 3 tornado warnings out here. Yeah. City of Middletown not taking care of their properties, so trees falling over on the power lines, and then 2 poles breaking in half, and but of course they're not gonna say anything about it. They're just, oh, you were out of power for 14 hours. Sorry.
We just went through that just a couple weeks ago. I was gone, and they were without power and internet. My youngest child almost died. No internet for like 12 hours. She didn't know how to
See,
function.
you know what though? Between your house and my house, there's enough board games that it's like you don't need the Nintendo, you don't need the Xbox.
Oh, I know, but
Wait,
I mean,
does she still have cell service?
Technically,
have
you don't need internet for Nintendo. Actually,
so she didn't have a cell phone at that point. So we were fine. She was not. But yeah. But now she has leveled up and she has her first cell phone. So that is the fun adventure as my last child has a cell phone now.
Yeah, but you did it right though.
I
She's
like
what,
to think we do. She just
11,
turned
12?
12. She just turned 12.
12.
So yeah.
Yeah. All these kids I'm seeing with cell phones now, I'm just like,
She was the last kid in her class to get a cell phone. And I'm
Wow.
not ashamed of it cuz like kids don't
Yeah.
need them.
My son was the same way. My youngest.
My oldest net didn't get one until she was like 15. She was a lot older. I'm just like, we don't need that drama.
Nope.
So, and there is
You don't need to
drama.
be calling nobody other than
To
me and
those of
mama.
you with younger kids, when they get to middle school, Godspeed. Middle school is the
Nope,
worst
that was the
age.
other thing we did. So it wasn't all bad. We ended up going and looking at some preschools.
Oh, good.
So it was
That'll be
It
good.
was that.
So,
So a little bit of sunshine in the storm of my life this week.
yeah, it was just not set up. It was a very interesting week followed by a really fun weekend. Yeah, see there's Mrs. Draston saying preach. Yeah, it's so funny. People ask like, how are the kids doing? And we got tells, and then she's like, my youngest is in middle school. It's the worst age. She sounds like a DM when she starts talking about it. She's just like, it was a horrible age. It's always been bad. Destruction, infighting. Nothing is going well. It's middle school. Like it's
Krista sound like she's talking about like she's Sarah Connor at the beginning of Terminator 2. Judgment Day.
it is. If you see her face, like it just goes from this smile to the whole thing just sinks, and like she tilts her head down to like shade her eyes, and she just looks up at you. The PTSD from it is real. It's real, and this is the last one we got to go through with this, and it's like, oh my god, yeah. And of course, like me, when it comes to this stuff, like little kid friendships and all that stuff, I'm like, strip mine the whole thing, have zero friends. You won't be friends with them after high school anyways. So like, who cares? Just go. Like, name a friend I talk to on a regular basis that I went to school with. Zero. All my
Right.
people I've met like on the internet or through work or something like
No.
that. So
Even the military.
Yeah,
I thought I'd keep in touch with people in the military. I tried, and it didn't pan out.
I'm at the point in my life where if I go to Facebook and I haven't like talked, or if I even remember the person that I apparently went to school with, I am just unfriending them. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on anyway. I was like, it's just the great purge. I was like, I haven't talked to you in like 20 years, so I probably ain't gonna talk to you
Bye.
anytime soon. Bye.
I did that, and I came from a really small school with a really small class, and you would think we were pretty tight knit, but like here I was, like I had a little subgroup for us for the school, like that I made on Facebook. One day I was looking at it, and I'm like, I don't talk to any of you freaking jokers, and like you don't even like thumbs up my messages, like when I put them out there. I just dropped them all and left the group. Like, what are you gonna do? Call me to complain? You never took the
Right.
time to get my number. Like,
You probably never even read it anyway.
right. And I've had the same number a very long time. So
It's like I just turned down like a 20, it must be, is it 25 year reunion?
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, I have absolutely no interest in
Yeah.
coming and
Well,
seeing
I don't
any
even
of you.
have those. Since I went
Yeah.
to a Dodge school, I don't even have those. My graduating class was
Well, it was
eight
at
people.
like a bowling alley in town, and I'm like, no, I'm not coming up to Michigan to go to a bowling alley with
Right.
some folks from high school.
So we just dropped a bunch. Hold on. I have to send messages to the family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, there you are.
It's-
I say, yeah, there you go. I was like, you're hitching a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. New phone. Everyone has to do stuff.
Screen time is off for everyone.
Right. Well, so we were, and this is probably half getting through to the audience here. She's like, "Well, can I play on the Xbox?" Yeah. Well, she's probably downloading something. Like, stop. Somebody's doing something because like it was completely fine, and then it just hard dropped. So we'll let them figure that out.
Yeah, people I graduated with either married a military person or they joined the military. And I just stopped talking to all of them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Let me just deal with this at home thing because she's probably hosting a Minecraft server.
So while you're dealing with that, I'm going to tell you about the Minecraft movie,
You saw it.
which I saw, and it was a Minecraft movie. Let me just say that. I mean, it's everything you could expect from a movie about Minecraft. Jack Black and what's his butt, Aquaman guy.
Jason Mamos.
Jason
Mimosa.
Momoa. Yeah.
Mimosa.
He's just a sip of paradise.
Yeah, so him and Jason Momoa, they tore up the screen, and there was, I mean, not getting too much into a critique. It's a good kids movie, and it was worth it to blow a few bucks and hang out with the kids, on a movie where I could turn my brain off. And it's been a long time since
Right.
I've been able to go to a movie and turn my brain off.
Well, like, the kid's like, I want to see it. I want to see it. I'm like, you don't even play the game.
Yeah.
I'm like,
So
no.
did you hear they're calling the cops on these kids now? Like, because
Wait,
they're
what?
making, yeah. So they're having to pause the movie because these Minecraft kids. And if you're not familiar with Minecraft kids, as someone who has a young child that plays Minecraft, like they're awful. They're just weird. But they're like throwing their popcorn and their drinks all over the theaters and stuff, and like making such a commotion. They're pausing the
That's
movie,
obnoxious.
and the cops are coming in. Yeah.
Oh,
Wait a
man.
second. Is Minecraft the Rocky Horror Picture Show of 2025?
I don't think
No, it's just
anything's a
people that
Rocky
don't
Horror Picture
don't
Show.
have
Parents that know how to
Parents or-
discipline their children,
Right.
maybe.
right.
All right, not to
Goodness.
divulge on
Parents
that
never
topic.
said no to them
So-
before in their life.
So, Anaximander, what have you been off doing?
I mean, other than watching the Minecraft movie and
Yeah.
disciplining my children. No, I'm just kidding. No, I've been I've been, when I'm not on the road, I'm just hanging out with the family, trying to find some more things to do on the weekend. Which is strange because I live in Florida and there's a lot of stuff to do on the weekend. It's just a matter of like, I don't really want to go out again. Is there anything like, around town that you want to do? Yeah, maybe. And a lot of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It's great. It's amazing, and I highly recommend it.
This is the remake of a game that was already out, right?
Yep. So they took that PlayStation 1 game and they revamped it, and it's very, very good. They did an excellent job with that. So
Good. Just like Hollywood, the game studios can't make anything new.
nope.
Well, for the rest of us, we were out and we were at Coyce Comics this last weekend. Me and Jeff and Gwenton, who's not with us because he just went on a very long drive and could pass out at any moment. We went up to Coyce Comics in Saginaw, Michigan, and you can see those pictures cycling through on the screen there. So we went in and we set up and we ran some open D&D sessions on Saturday and Sunday. But what was unique this time is they actually Coyce closed the store and reopened a half an hour as kind of an adults only D&D time, and we were full up, and it was amazing. Jeff, your thoughts?
It was the most fun I have ever had DMing for a table full of strangers. The most fun I've ever had DMing for a table full of
And you,
strangers.
so describe, without giving too many details, like some stuff about the adventure you were running.
So mine was Eldritch Horror Escape Room. The players find themselves locked into the dungeon of a small outpost outside of a castle, and they have to race against time to escape the Eldritch Beast before it is unleashed.
And it was curious because we literally were racing against time as we were trying to fit this in an hour and a half window, and finding out, as much as Mike has said doing these before, just isn't working. We're gonna have to boost it up to 2 hours. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that seems to be the problem. It's like it's like even adding more tables, it just didn't seem to give us enough time.
So we did have an hour between each session, which we ended up eating usually, what would you say, a half an hour of that up?
Yeah.
So that means we were falling in that 2 hour time frame. So I think we're getting closer to nailing down how long we talk and players play. I did have one go short that they like really burned through it, but for the most part it was the full time period. But
Was it
so
a
you
table full of video game players? Because I find that they tend to burn through really fast.
It wasn't, but like, yeah, I understand that. But you had a pretty epic ending to that last, I think it was your last table, right?
It was absolutely amazing. So the without giving too much away,
Yeah.
the bad guy slips. The big bad slips out the door while the party's distracted, and they realize that he is going to take their rowboat, and they will not have a way off this island if he gets to the boat first. And by the time they figured it out, they run out there, and they don't have enough distance for any melee. It's all going to be ranged. And so the ranger goes, the fighter goes, the druid goes, the sorcerer goes, and we're left with a paladin. And we, being the brilliant people that we are, forgot to put javelins on our paladins.
Yeah, some of the
She
classes had them, but some did not.
Yeah, so the paladin doesn't have their normal ranged weapon. They're like, I don't have a ranged weapon. And the fighter's like, here, use my crossbow. And the paladin, she was like, can I? And I was like, you are proficient in them. And I literally told her that like she has about a 25% chance of actually ending this story happy, because she's got a -1 to her dex as a paladin, and he has 6 hit points left. So anybody that's played before, D8 -1, so she has to roll an 8 or a 7 just to end this thing. And she rolls her first and only nat 20 of the night. So she literally killed this guy with 2 hit points extra.
Send him out Viking
And
style
all because
on the boat.
Yep. Yeah, so great. I mean, they literally erupted, and they spent about 5 minutes talking about how epic that final battle was. So
Yeah, that was great. We heard you guys because the cheers were definitely echoing through Coy's during that. And how many players during all of your sessions did you end their life permanently?
only one.
Only one.
Yep. Because the way my story starts off, they know not to mess around. So they literally watch an NPC get eaten right in front of them. So
Okay,
very, very, very careful players.
good. Now, Jeremy, he was running an adventure. He was running one that Mike had put together a few years ago, leaning into Curse of Strahd. And Mike, what's some of the details of that little adventure?
Pretty much a rich, eccentric keep owner is given he inherits a roadhouse, and he sends a group of people up there to check it out for him. And the backstory of the house is not a good one, and only one of those people return, and they are pretty much insane. So he's hiring more people to go up there to figure out what happened.
All right. And during that, there were some unlucky patrons. Jeff, you went through this one that were assaulted by creepy dolls and other things.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you what, it's really funny because that's only the second story that Mike's ever written that I've gotten to do a run through of, and I have to say that Mike needs to give himself some credit as a story writer. It was good all the way through.
Yeah.
Those side papers with the diary and stuff is
Oh yeah.
really good.
And we had a
horror,
little
man.
We had
I
a
like
little bit of
horror.
a scare when we got there and we're getting set up because we were like, "Oh no, we don't have enough minis." And Jeremy's like, "I only have enough minis for like that whole container is just for this story." Well,
Well, it was a
it
small container. I mean,
well, we found out it helps that when you travel that distance, if you look in the floorboard of the back seat where the other two containers of minis were. So,
I was gonna say I gave you all but like the big monsters.
yeah. So I was just there was so much to get out of the vehicle. My wife had got me a like D&D backpack recently, and it holds everything.
I should have just given you that gaming bag with all that stuff in it. The one I usually take. The
That's
big
okay. It
black
probably wouldn't have fit. There
square
was a
thing.
lot in the car. So, but we did find it. We all collectively kind of sighed. We're, whew, we got minis.
Yeah, half hour before I'm supposed to start running, and I've got a map with nobody's. It was a little intense. Our own little horror show.
Yeah. Hey, Don, how's it going? We see you over there on YouTube. I think you were one of the players. I want to say you're the player that took the crossbow shot, if I'm remembering, but my memory's really bad. And I wasn't at the table, so. But welcome. We're just talking about kois right now. Typically this would be our D&D stream, but we're all a little tired from D&D in it all weekend, so we're yeah, we're just talking about that, and then we'll get into some of the campaign here in a minute. My campaign, or adventure was kind of a retool of one of the first ones I had done, but basically people are kind of going in crazy, and the mayor's son disappears, kidnapped. The guard pays everyone to go and rescue them, and I would say the horror starts pretty early. My first group had some younger kids in there, and as I started describing some of the things, you could see some faces that weren't thrilled about those descriptions. Hey, Porter. Yeah, it was. So there's our heroic paladin, Jeff, right here.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It was super cool. It was such a cool moment.
Yeah, we just got done talking about that too. But yeah, so they went in, and thank you. Yeah, it was. I'm lucky that my wife was driving because I was out for most of that trip, and she was pretty tired too. But so they had to kind of go through and find where this was, and things did not go as they seemed. I think my favorite part was the last part where they said, "Oh, it's just one cultist." It's not just one cultist at the end.
It's
So
never just one cultist.
so that was good. I did end the life of a few of the players during that last fight. One of them being the dude from Banter and Babble. So, dude, we actually recorded this one, so you can actually go on YouTube. I've got to get it transferred over to ours so we can put it on our channel too, but it's on Banter and Babble's channel right now. And he was playing a barbarian, where he didn't need a shirt because his chest hair covered that job. So he was definitely like really getting into character and going, and he was definitely eating it up, and he charged in there to save his friends, and um, they did not save him when it needed to happen. So yeah, so the horror when a player at the table passes like that, I mean, everybody's like, oh no, this guy's serious. He's not gonna let there be rainbows at the end of this. So we really had a great time with that. And if you tune into that over on Banter and Babble's channel, let me actually throw up the link. I know it won't go to YouTube, but we'll get that video somehow and get it transferred over. So in case you want to watch it, but yeah, you may some of you may see yourself if you are watching the pictures here that were taken. But Coy's Comic treated us wonderfully. What a great group of people, workers, all the way up to Steve and Brandy. Really, really, I mean, because they don't really know us as well as Banter and Babble, you know, in what we do, and they acted like they'd known us for their whole life. So that was really really coming. We appreciate the hospitality that from that group. So Jeff, what would you say was your favorite part of this weekend? Was it that shot, or was it something else?
Oh, I mean, that shot was so good, and one of the things that I really enjoyed, and it was the table right before the Paladin's lucky shot, was there was a couple that they were both wanting to get into Dungeons and Dragons, but they had never experienced it outside of watching streams like ours. So they when they start off, they're locked up in cells, and the druid's like, well, can I still do this wild shape thing? And I was like, I'll tell you what, roll a stealth check to see if they found your wand when you got stripped of all your weapons and stuff. And she rolled high enough that I was like, you managed to keep your wand tucked in your belt, and it was so hidden that they didn't find it. And I described how I like to envision wild shaping working for a druid, which is first, as you're shifting, your equipment kind of absorbs into you. But I explained how, since she was turning into a poisonous snake, she started growing scales, how her body would, non-horror like, but more majestic like, mutate. And that was it. I could tell that I had hooked the entire table with just describing how a druid's wild shape works. And that was a big highlight for me. I felt pretty proud as a DM.
And Don, yeah, I hope we get to come back soon. We're already kind of talking about it. We've got some resources up there, and we've been talking with Steve and Brandy there, Coys, about getting something regular going. Maybe not with us involved, but we'd like to maybe do some more up there as well in the future. So keep an eye out with them on their social media, our social media. We will. There will be plenty of notice the next time we do these, and it'll be a whole new theme. We like to theme our stuff, and this one was kind of the old god eldritch stuff, which was which was a lot of fun for me. I would say Jeremy's not here, but I think his was funny because he had someone wild shape and they love dinosaurs and he's a big dinosaur Jurassic Park fan. And he just let him change into a compy before he realized what the stats of a compy were. He's like, you can't do that. So
that person came and played at my table next and was like, oh yeah, I want to turn into this. And I was like, yeah, but you're not 16th level. So,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. So we do play the rules a little fast and loose, like when we do these because it's all about helping people play for the first time, and that leads into one of my favorite moments outside of the live stream, which was a lot of laughing, a lot of fun. But my first table, I had so there were some younger kids there. Two families came in that knew each other, and me and Jeff have talked about this. There is nothing that matches the energy of a kid who like is digging D&D.
oh
And
yeah.
like they were the fighter at the table and you could tell they loved every minute of it, and I like it just energizes me as a DM when they're like, oh, I want to do this and I want to get in there and do this and this, and it happened to fall that they got like the killing blow on the last boss, right? And I'm like, all right, now this is this is where you describe what you want to do to this thing. And they were like, can I show you, can I stand up and show you? I'm like, yes, show me, and it was just great, smiling ear to ear for me. So that I always love that. So we had a blast, and we do much as Don said there, like we can't wait. We love doing this. We did this for a while in another venue, and this was our first time doing Koi's, and it was just really no hitches. I can't think of any problems we had. Everything, once we found the minis.
Yeah, once we found the minis, yeah, that was
we were good. Yeah. So that was good. Anything
I
else you
will
want to
say,
bring up about the weekend? Yeah,
yeah.
go ahead.
So not only like no hitches, but like the entire Koi staff from top to bottom
Oh yeah.
was quite possibly the nicest and most like participative staff that I've ever run D&D tables for. So
Mike,
I mean, not just Steve and Brandy, but I mean, right down to Max and the other guys there. It was amazing.
Mike, I got to look through an original edition monster manual.
Oh wow.
One of the workers, her dad had this stuff and she brought it in for us to look at and said, hey, look at this, what do you think? And I'm like, what? Jeff came up and almost had a heart attack of the stuff sitting there. Like, because what was it? Was a player's handbook, the
Yep.
old the one with the jewel thief eye image. Like I have a shirt that has that on it. It was that book, and it was the original Monster Manuals book.
I
and
still haven't looked at any of those. I didn't get into it until second edition.
Yeah,
So
and
I've
they
not
were
even looked at the original.
They were in great shape. Like I was
Yeah.
being very careful even to open them because like the bindings on the back weren't even broken. Like they were in wonderful shape.
Wow.
But that was a little bit of nerd thing here at like midnight of Saturday. So all in all, it was a really great time. I ended up picking up myself the Heroes Feast D&D book that's full of recipes, and there's some good stuff in there, and I can't wait to dig into those and make some of those. But thanks again, Koi's, for having us, and for everybody. And not only the workers, the regulars that come into Koi's Comics. Like, you all were so nice and so accepting and so friendly. Like, it was really refreshing.
Yeah, as I'm actively in your way of getting to your Star Wars action figures, you're like, hey, this looks like fun. Very, very
Yeah.
nice people.
Yeah.
Makes me want to
Yeah.
move to Michigan because Ohio is not that
Oh
way.
no. Let's not go that far. You got to remember the winter months, what is it? October to June, when there's just snow on the ground. So
All right, excuse me. As a resident, former Michigan resident, you only see the sun about 2 weeks of the year.
Yeah, I was
and
there for 7 years. That's accurate.
yeah, and the entire rest of the time is a very sporadic outpouring of weather, where the morning and the evening time are not properly aligned, and it is quite terrible to behold.
oh, and
Oh,
there's
hey
another
guys,
one. Yeah,
everybody!
there's another
Tanya,
one.
Tanya just hopped into the live chat. That is the young lady that I got to describe how her druid wild shaped.
Oh,
And so we
okay.
just talked about that on the stream. So yeah.
Oh, take
pretty
pictures so
awesome
we can see
that
what the
she's
food
here
looks
now,
like
so
when you
hi.
make it. Dawn, absolutely. So, oh God, the internet just keeps cutting out. It's just not ready tonight for the power that's coming through. Yeah, so we will take pictures. Keep an eye out on the Facebook or the Discord. When I make those dishes, definitely we'll put them out there. Like I love food. If you saw me, I love food. So we'll get those out there for sure. But yeah, welcome, Tanya. That's we are so happy you came to play. But as
yeah,
we
I'll
move,
probably be picking up the new starter pack
okay,
because it's
yeah.
supposed to be a new story.
Is there a new one? I know I got the one from the Essentials. I always buy them. So
They're making another. Yeah, they're making another one for 2025. So
oh, okay.
yeah, they made a sequel to the 2014 one.
Oh,
So the Mines, they
I'll have
made a
to get
sequel
it.
to it, but they're supposed to be doing a brand new story for this new starter pack.
Wait, are you talking about the mines of Flor?
Yes, I wasn't
Yeah.
even going to try that.
Yeah, I mean it's Flor.
So for
Yeah.
some of you that may be the first time, by the way, our socials, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Discord. What else? What am I missing, folks? Of course,
Instagram,
Twitch,
but
YouTube.
we need to get
Yeah.
a little bit more active on our Instagram.
Marshall.
I'm working on that too. Like, because I could
Hold on a second. I get a whole bunch of memes from you guys. I mean, so
I don't have access to that channel.
We're definitely active. I just don't think we're active in the right respect.
Active between each other, not
So
the actual page.
So who won the drawing for the starter pack? I don't know, because that Stephen Brandy and Coys was running that. So we didn't even see it. I wasn't even sure it was going on. So I would check in with Coys Comics and see they might be able to tell you who was able to snag that. They have a beautiful D&D display, by the way, with a bunch of the books and stuff and dice. And they had metal dice in the cabinet, which I love metal dice. But for those of you also new here, we are in our second campaign. Our first campaign you can find on YouTube. The second one is on YouTube as well. Sorry, my voice is a little shot from this weekend. But you can find what we call bonus actions on both of those campaigns, and they're 2 to 5 minute little refreshers of what you missed in that episode. Easy way to catch up if you want to catch up on the second campaign, because we are 2 episodes away from our 100th episode of campaign 2.
Whoa.
So yeah,
Yep.
isn't that crazy?
April 21st, the day after my birthday.
Yeah, Twitch is our prime streaming platform. So we are on there, twitch.tv/7dungeons. Same way with Facebook. It's facebook.com/7dungeons, and YouTube is youtube@7dungeons. So they're real easy. If you picked up one of our cards, all those links are on the on that QR code on the back. Takes you to our link tree that takes you everywhere. But yeah, we've got our 100th episode coming up. I know for our 50th episode, I recorded a catch up, like what's been happening. So I'll be doing that again after the 100th episode, so that you can technically watch both of those and kind of have the general idea of what's going on in the world. Everything we do is homebrewed in the 2024 5e universe. So we are we are at the Islands of Phrasia, which is a set of islands that includes Drakenwald and some other islands, Rashan and such, that are to the northwest of the Sword Coast. So we do operate in that world. So guys, as we rocket in towards episode 100, what are you thinking? Anax, you're on your second character. Awesome, Don.
Third.
Thank you. Third. Well, I don't count Rift. Rift was
Hey,
yeah.
hey, and Rift is still alive.
Decisions that
True.
that the player made the character.
But that was wow. But so yeah, I'll start with you and
decisions that the player made on behalf of the character in an effort to be in the character.
Yes. So let's start with you, Anax. We'll do a little focus in here. You started as Oz. So what does it feel going through everything that Oz went through, and then now you play Anax? What is that like? What has this journey been like for you?
So even though they are both very melee centric characters, very very strong-willed characters, they RP quite from each other. So you have Ozadolf, who is a Frost, who is a barbarian, very young for an elf, and due to his sheltered upbringing, it was very naive when it came to the outside world. And it was very interesting to be able to play as him and kind of explore the Isles of Phrasia, through his eyes. And unfortunately, that curiosity and naivete kind of bit him in the rear end with a deck of many things, which met to his to him being out of the campaign. Really, he's not dead; he's just out of the campaign. Now we turn over to Anaximander, which is kind of is on the other side of the spectrum, where there's more discipline, there's more there's more structure. He's from, as opposed to being young and naive, he's older, wizened, or wizened, and rather set in his ways, and for good reason. So it's been interesting to see, to kind of change direction from a player standpoint and to kind of again, see how the story has progressed, in the Shadowspark Chronicles with Anaximander.
Yeah, it's definitely a different character. Now your character is unique, your class. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that without going into too much detail?
So yes, it's a unique character build, which is designed around more of a wartime, a wartime I guess, yeah, it's just more for war, very action oriented, whereas usually when in the clergy and more of the the religious side of D&D, there's there's a lot of hemming and hawing and a lot of debate, and he's very very action oriented, and decisions need to be made because lives are on the line, and just think of a general or commander of a military, and that's kind of a 10,000 foot perspective of Anaximander, and how this particular class, which we've put together, is a particular order of paladins called the Martyr, which is a paladin that will that will fight to the last breath, and you see that in the character, as when they're at when there's a fight there, there's no reservations. It is it is win. It is win, so that you can so that you can reach the ultimate victory, which is which is more glory towards for Tyr.
Yeah, so this is a homebrew class that we kind of worked on, put together. It's a subclass for Paladin called the Martyr. If you are using D&D Beyond, you can find that class there. We have released one of the versions. The 2014 version is open to the public. I'll be releasing the 2024 one. I just forgot I had done it. We've actually had about 40 people use that. I don't know if I had told you that. I just saw it the other day. The 2014 version.
No, I haven't heard that. That's new to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting. And this is something we do because leading into Mike with Bishop, you're also homebrew.
Yeah. I thinking back on it, I probably should have we probably could have kept it as a Warforged, but kind of handicapped myself there with certain ways we do things. But yeah, I mean, he's definitely different than anything I played before. I'm usually the more outspoken and aggressive character. And this time I was trying to do the laid back. I'm going to take a step back, not be in a leader position. And
now you are the character.
It's hard to play that as a character.
Yeah, you are the character that punched a hobgoblin in the face and said, "These negotiations are over," right? Like that was you.
Over. That is, yes. Well, there's only so much you can take before you're just like, it's not going to work out anymore.
So I would say it would be hard to play the pacifist, because there's things that you want to do.
Because it's right. And when things aren't going the way you think they should be going, or, just conversations aren't going, and a lot of it is, dice rolls and things like that, which most people who know me already know my stance on.
He loves digital dice. Loves it.
The reason why we play with digital dice, because he loves them so much.
I love them so much. But it's when you have something in your mind and you're like, okay, we're going to do it this way. This is how it's going to happen, and then it never happens that way. It's just like, at least with his background, he's not, he's only trying to be a pacifist. He's not a true pacifist.
Yeah.
He's just trying really hard. And lately it's becoming even harder to maintain.
And there are times when that rage gets kind of pointed at our local wizard, Marsland, as Marsland is literally an open book.
Yeah. Marsland is very, very literal, doesn't really understand sarcasm or humor. Starting to learn humor, but also thinks that just everybody should be privy to all facts and knowledge that abounds throughout the world, and has been a bit of a learning curve understanding when to shut his freaking mouth.
So
that's for sure.
you have went in our first campaign, which you had never played D&D before when you started, and you started as the cantankerous rogue Zoramir, which ended up being such great little character there, that led to so many good story arcs and even an epic ending for that character.
That was not planned at all.
No, that we couldn't have planned that. We're not that good. To this polar shift to Marsland, who is more proper, comes from money, more learned about things, but like has zero world wisdom. So you went with someone, a rogue who is very worldly, to someone who has zero worldly, and it's such a different take. What is your feeling as you went from the beginning of running out in a field by yourself while these people are fighting to now? Like, what's the campaign been like for you?
No, it's interesting. I mean, yeah, Marslin's very smart. He has like a 25 intelligence, but his wisdom's like 9. So I don't know. I definitely played Zoromir because that is what I found very fun to play, and Marslin was a challenge to myself to play something completely opposite, like you said. And it's interesting. There's been a few key moments where it's like, man, like I want to have empathy as the player, but Marslin is just so lawful and so literal that he wouldn't really have empathy at this point. One of them being with Justinian, where he was just like, yeah, face the music. It's interesting to it really forces you to kind of what Mike was saying, like the first character, as is typical, is you play something that feels comfortable to you to play, and then it's fun in the second character to play something where you have to think a little bit more about what would the character do rather than what do you want to do as a player, and making those decisions when your gut is like, oh man, really, and then still going through with it is an interesting.
Yeah,
That's what makes it fun, right?
Well, right. The chaos of it all is that fun part, and even to the point you would name the party something that everyone hated and still hate some of them.
It's the best name I've ever come up with.
I will say it is the most original name of any adventuring party I've been in.
So
it spawned one of the greatest theme songs you could possibly imagine.
it is something. The Light Unsparker song, yeah, is. I remember when I approached you about, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna. What is the Light Unsparkers theme song in your head? And you were like, 80s hair band.
That's it. Yeah, I remember saying that, and it hit the nail on the head. That is exactly what that is.
Okay. So I wrote it up.
So catchy.
And then when it came together, I was like, oh my God. and the first time we ever played it, I wish we would have just zoomed in on Mike's face, because he is not a fan of the Light Unsparkers, right, Mike?
I am not. That's nope.
I
like the theme song. I hate the name.
But now it's literally like it's become a thing. You guys now have cloaks.
It's canon. I mean, everybody's got. Yeah.
And I'll say I leaned into it
Bishop
hard
has a kilt.
just because it was so awful. Like I'm
no, sorry,
definitely
Bishop has the loincloth. Quentin has the kilt.
But I definitely leaned into it as a DM because I was wanting that to just go forward because it's so terrible. It was such a snap decision thing, which is how I think any party name comes about, right? Like,
oh yeah.
Well, let's see. He's in a room with a highly ranked individual by himself after everybody else has left, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we're the Light Unsparkers."
If there was anybody to make that
say
name
that we
stick.
were starting to build renown and we needed a name, and she did put him on the spot.
Oh yeah,
hey, Cuddles.
I did not start that conversation. She did.
He absolutely did, and Marslin did as Marslin does.
I
mean, we're fighting the Shadow Sparks. What's the opposite of Shadow Sparks?
Unspark.
But then
it's Marslin. He's very literal.
Then the party who gets together, they set a place on fire and leave. And then that party member
before we left.
We did put it out. And then that party member leaves, and we find this antlered, green-skinned person in a hole, And much like we talked about this weekend, because I didn't even put 2 and 2 together and think about it, but like your character, Jeff, it started in despair. It started with
Yeah.
the worst thing that could happen to you.
Yes. So for anybody that has not been following us from the beginning of me being introduced, which oddly enough, episode 100 will be my 60th episode with the group.
Okay.
So
Interesting that you're right on
Yeah.
that break point.
yeah, it's great. But yeah, Justinian got introduced to the party, and then at the end of that first session, there was a countdown clock put up that told me that the whole party only had 40 days to live, with the exception of Bishop, who was immune to the disease. And so Bishop's like, if you guys die, you die.
Trying to help out, but
But you did find that cure.
Yeah, absolutely. And then it has been misadventure after misadventure, but it has been such an honor to be part of the group and really being taken in by you guys.
And now you have questions that have filled your head lately due to recent events, and you're not even sure.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's like when you and I first started talking about the character concept, I was like, number one, you know, you guys were already level 6 or 7 when I was joining you. And I was like, hey, I want to play somebody that is very, very young, like a year out of being a child and into being a man. And his pact was just thrust upon him without him understanding what making a pact was or even who his patron really was. And so we built me up mostly as a fighter with 1 level in warlock. And I've been studiously as Justinian trying to find everything I can about my patron. And now I can't talk to my patron, but I can talk to somebody else that makes me question myself. So
Yeah, you just never know. You never know. I mean, Bishop's got basically a ticking time bomb at some point in his body, right? Like there's something going on there.
something's going on that nobody knows about.
Spoiler.
Nah,
is
we
it a
didn't.
spoiler?
That's not a spoiler.
Like, I was about to
No,
say.
he's brought
he
it up.
glares at you with red eyes.
Yeah.
It's been brought up numerous times.
It's been brought up that he might blow his top if the wrong conditions are met.
No,
but,
no, this
you know.
he's brought this up.
Ever since he had that cursed item and had it removed, something's changed.
That's why he wanted to punch the priest in the face recently. And then our missing member here, Gwenton, the dwarf, he's like the dedicated trauma patient. So like everything has gone wrong. His brother lost this, lost that, horrible rolls. He's dealing with a lot of internal trauma. So
Blames himself for Oz being gone, even though it is totally not his fault.
Yeah,
that was definitely his fault. He tried to put Oz into a sack, and not knowing that that a statue had the approximate weight of the person, because
You knew it
let's
was
get
heavy.
philosophical out. Let's get philosophical. What is the weight of a soul?
What is the weight of one human soul?
Yeah, so now we since we didn't ponder that question as we stared at our navel, Oz is now like drifting through the astral sea, but I'm not bitter.
Which is another great song that is catchy, super catchy. You can you can find them all on Spotify. No, they're not there. But so I'm gonna go around the group here. This is something we usually do when we have these little sessions. Marsland, who would you say is your favorite NPC so far?
Oh boy. I need to look at a list.
Now that checks
Really?
out in its entirety.
Really? Because I
You
can
mean
name
there's
Marsland's
NPCs in
favorite
our
NPC.
campaign?
I can name Marsland's favorite NPC.
I mean, Pora is obviously up there.
He's
Pora's
got
up there, and
Marsland has
Lamar's
a
up
picture
there.
of Pora like sitting on like right by his bedside.
Right.
You know, like
It's a picture of her just surrounded by books. Like there's books painted all around.
I mean, I like Pora and Lamar purely due to like they are very engaging for my character. I really enjoy Scootus. I think he's a I always like the characters like King or the oh
Like
gosh,
this.
what was the turtle's name from the first campaign?
Oh, Buthok.
Buthok, love Buthok.
I love turtles.
I love
I
those
like
little
turtles.
I like turtles too. I like the kind of offbeat characters that are a little funky.
I think Scootus is so fun because he was not supposed to be a character, became a character, and like in my head, I always picture like an archetype for him, and for him, it was just like
Mhm.
that sage old man that you just love sitting there and hearing the stories, or like you could compare him to for those of us that have went up to Saginaw, Cowboy at the home too, like that's a guy I just want to hang out and talk to. Like he's got stories. But
Mhm.
okay. Bishop, what would you say?
Oh well,
Apparently Marsland has many.
Do you have
There's
another
more.
one, Marsland?
there's some good characters. You're having trouble with your voice.
It's really bad. Yeah, it's really bad.
Your internet.
Mhm.
As much as I hated the character, yeah. Doll Whitebeard was fun to interact with.
Okay, that's fair.
I am not aware of that one.
What? You were there.
Was I?
The pirate
Yeah.
at
Pirate.
the Skull
The
Rock,
Pirate
Titans
King?
Rock. Yep.
The
Yeah.
Pirate King? Oh my god. Dude, how can that be your favorite NPC? He was oh my god.
Like I said, I hated him, but I liked him as a character.
He was gonna hang you for being a bad pirate captain.
Yeah, but it's interesting. It's an engaging character. Like makes you feel something.
That's what I like. So Mike, what would yours be? What would Bishop's be?
Like, I mean, naturally, I like Bren
Yeah.
because he sees her as well. She knew his father more than he did, so it was one of those like he kind of looks at her for advice now that Gaz is dead. I think
Mhm.
Gaz would have been a great NPC if he had lasted longer.
He never, there was no intention in it of him lasting.
No, I
longer.
mean, I get it. But really, Bishop doesn't have. I mean, even his
he
family
doesn't really have
it's like-
feelings though, right? I mean, outside of
Right.
his family. And that feels more like you saved my life, so I'm in servitude to you, like a
Yeah.
Wookiee life debt.
Right. I'm here. I'm going to help out as much as I possibly can. I know I'm going to outlive all of you.
Yeah. Which has got to be heavy in some capacity, just knowing
Right.
that, right?
But yeah,
What
he hasn't really bonded with any other NPCs really.
and actually, what about you? For you or Oz, you as a player, what has your been your favorite?
So, as a player, my favorite character was probably Colton Frost, because no, I'm not saying that I like the character.
No,
I'm just
no.
saying I like the idea, and we don't know what would have happened with that arc. But I mean, you've got someone who's kind of is just forcing or is not almost being forced to help out, a group of individuals, and that he'd really just rather just probably stab him in the back or have nothing to do with. Um, but having that dichotomy there with the party, and then Colton Frost as this, benevolent slash reluctant, provider of transportation to and fro. It was good. It was very, very interesting.
All right. And
Character to love to hate.
and Jeff,
yeah.
what has been yours so far?
So this is gonna be funny because I've got two, and the first one is gonna line up with exactly what Biddle just said. And my number one is Eighth and Shadow Spark.
Really? Okay.
Absolutely, like,
Hmm.
well, okay, so hear me out. So 12 or so episodes in, I finally get back with the party to their house, and they're telling me all about this undead guy that they've got to go kill, and they need my help to do it, right? And I find out that A, they woke him up out of his crypt. B, they're living in his house, which they've now given me a room in. And C, they ran away from the fight with him after they woke him up. And so I'm like, wait, so you guys just created your own problem? Like, this is your big
And you've
group?
played long enough with us now that you realize that
You
that's
see
gonna
now.
happen every time.
Absolutely. So that brings me to my number two, and I am the reason why that NPC is no longer with the group, and that's Crow.
Yeah,
I
Crow
knew
was
you were
pretty
going to
good
say
too.
Crow.
Yeah. So Crow was taken in by Oz, and Oz was the only player character at the time that Oz died that Justinian had bonded with at all. And nobody really to that point in the group had ever made a chance to, or ever really taken the chance to bond with Justinian and make him feel like part of the group. So that morning of Oz and realizing that Oz was taking care of Crow was what pushed Justinian towards Crow. And he was trying to help her develop and be able to be more than just somebody who lived in a basement and didn't contribute to society and also didn't know how to live in society. And so he was trying to help her grow, and Justinian has to choose his words better, just like he's got to pick his deals better. So
Yeah. So Crow was a freaking footnote that it's because of the bits I have to deal with this team of players of what's your name again, sir? Like, so I tend to name everything that I can that's not like improv. And so I name those, and like it was just a name as this is one of the people here. And I thought for sure I knew one of one of these NPCs was going to be on the more creepy side of things based on where you found them. And then when Oz was like, "You can come with us," I'm like, "Stop adopting people."
Mm-hmm.
You keep adopting these. We adopted Bryn, and we adopted Crow, and we adopted Lomar, all these people that weren't supposed to have an existence in the world. Now are
Go on,
full
everybody.
There's really no way to not do that. Like you've went full on with Lamar. You went on like a whole thing with, oh, I'm studying all this stuff, and this is the first one that Marsland's encountered since he left, and blah blah blah. So you
Of course, I'm gonna
kind
latch
of,
onto him.
yeah. And then with, like I said, with Bryn, she's working for Gaz. We find Gaz. Gaz dies, and now she's like, oh, I've been keeping his secret for all this time, and he's been helping me and teaching me. And what are we supposed to be like? Okay, well, bye, screw you.
Well, I figured
later.
you would. I figured
No.
you would leave them in Smyrna and like be like, hey, these are our friends that live there. Like we've got these resources, but instead it was let's bring the lost
Hey,
puppies
this
home.
house that we just bought, there's a
Plenty of
whole
room.
freaking blacksmithing.
Yeah. and I
We have
ended
a
up
whole big blacksmithing area in our house that isn't being used.
and I ended up really liking
You
Crow.
played Baldur's Gate, right? You know how you just are supposed to collect the NPCs.
It's true. I enjoyed playing Crow.
You were lagging
Def-
hard.
I know I can't do anything about it. My internet here at the house is shot. Especially the upload. It's all over the place. Nobody's doing anything but us. And it's just
I mean, you're responding to what I'm saying like 15 seconds after I say it.
yeah, that's fair. That's probably true. It's supposed to be good right now. And then it hit 0. Yeah. Is it still bad?
Maybe a bit better.
Okay. But I enjoyed playing as Crow. But Crow is like Drax. Everything is literal. And that caused some problems for sure.
What's your favorite NPC to play?
There is no doubt that it is Colton Frost. Hands down, the best. I can't really call him a villain. That's what I told you guys. You guys hate him so much, and I'm like, tell me one thing he's done that is wrong.
Of course, we hate him.
Like, he's not done anything wrong. He is just, he's arrogant.
He's a douche.
He is 100%. But he never does anything wrong. But his attitude and personality alone makes you just, it's a punchable face, you know?
Not only that though, but the way, not only that Oz was almost fearful of him, but also their interactions that we observed. Like, there's a reason why that we never got to the bottom of why Oz was running. And number 2, there's a reason why Colton Frost still wanted Oz's body, even though it didn't have a soul anymore.
And knowing the reason why Oz was running, and of course Anax knows this, but like, it's dark.
Like, well, is there any harm in sharing it at this point?
Yep. So
there is a lot of harm because
there's a lot of harm. There's a lot of stuff that we could get into with that.
Yeah. Because it is. I mean, it's not like Colton Frost is still going to come to fruition. So and come to the forefront again.
You never know.
I did promise I was going to kill him.
Yeah.
Where is Colton?
And
right
Bishop
now?
Bishop does know some things that Oz thought he should tell somebody.
Yeah. Some
Bishop
things.
just hasn't shared anything.
Yep. It hasn't come up. But yeah, it was quite, I just love playing him. He's just such a fun character because I can sit and watch your guys' reaction as I play him. And especially Mike has a lot of like nonverbal cues when he's playing. It's fun to watch because you can see like he'll lean back, he'll lean forward, but then when he's getting irritated, he'll just stop, and then you just see the head slowly start turning down like he's glaring. Like, it's pretty great. So
and for someone who's not a great guy, sure likes to talk a lot of smack.
He is a wonderful astral elf. But
even
no,
Oz wasn't wonderful astral elf. Come on now.
Oz was great.
He
Oz was chaotic. Who do you think was more chaotic, Oz or Zoromir?
I think I'm the best to answer that question.
Zoromir.
I was gonna say I think Zoromir was more because he was actively doing a lot of stuff. Like,
yeah, so I don't think I would call Zoromir chaotic in the sense of the word. Like, Oz just did things, right? Like, there wasn't thought behind it. Zoromir had thought behind it. I don't know which makes the one more chaotic than the other.
Well,
Are we,
they
are we
Zoromir's
remembering Zoramir the same way, or just like at the end, a mature Zoramir?
Zoromir
'Cause,
at the
like,
start, yeah.
yeah, early stage Zoramir was pretty cray cray. I mean, a Knoll wanted to kill him, and they were supposed to be his friend.
He did provoke it a lot on purpose.
Poke the
Right.
bear.
That's what I'm saying. It's like with Oz, I don't understand. I don't get how a character who has weird things happen every time he does a certain thing, not realize that he's the one doing it. Okay, that's chaotic, but he's not like, hey guys, I'm gonna do this and something's gonna happen. As Zormir was like, I'm gonna push this as far as I can. And oh my god, he actually hit me.
Yeah.
I can't believe he hit me.
I'm gonna go sneak into their private quarters and steal something from it because I can. Wait, I'm in trouble? What?
Yeah. And still worst thief ever.
Yeah. One of
Like
my
the
favorite dumb chaos moments was when I climbed the statue in the underneath, I think it was underneath the heart tree. Or where was that? That was around the time.
I think it was the hidden city. You were gonna try to climb their sacred tree.
That's what it was, yeah. And then all the guards were like, the hell is this guy doing?
Oh, my brother, I just found my brother and he just died. But look at this tree that everybody says I can't touch. I'm gonna touch
Oh,
it.
well, that's the number one thing he wants to do when you tell him it's like a little kid. Tell him you can't do something. It's the only thing he wants to do now.
Oh, I have this evil black dragon soul inside my body talking to me.
I kind of
Let
like
me
it.
let me talk to him right in front of the one person that doesn't who doesn't want this thing around and see what happens.
that was pretty great. What a great moment. What a great side arc there, too. But still the ending
Yes,
with Zoramir
Zoramir was
the
more
best.
chaotic,
Man, I don't know. I mean, he had more playtime.
in my opinion.
Yeah, I had a lot more playtime with Z.
Yeah. Than Oz got. But yeah.
I would have liked to see Oz mature and his story arc kind of unfold.
Yeah.
Me too, man. Me too.
Yeah, absolutely, me too. I mean, like, yeah, Oz
Because
was
I know where it was going, and I was very excited about that arc. And again, I've said this many times. I don't know what it is about the way you write your backstories where it just clicks with the thought process, and I'm like, oh, and I'm able to like
It's the
grow
beauty
off
of a
that.
backstory that's open.
Yeah.
So the creating the backstory that's open, to interpretation. I didn't hardline, a lot in there, so I was like, here's some information on the backstory. I think with Anaximander, I kind of streamlined a little bit, but we had an idea in mind before I made the backstory. As opposed to Oz, where here's a character, and now let's try and see how we can work this into the Isles and the Shadow Spark Chronicles.
Yeah. Yeah, every one of you, I think, for the most part, still have. There are some facets of your backstories that haven't come to full fruition yet, but
Oh
what?
wait, I guess I'm sending to my parents. Oh, they're
Yeah,
dying.
yeah, man,
uh,
what a because even as a DM, like even I hadn't thought of like, why wouldn't you? Like,
Yeah,
you know them, you have
Yeah.
the ability to do
I
so.
sure do.
you know the spell and you know how the spell works.
Just didn't cross my mind.
Reading too many books.
Yeah. I would say one of my other favorite things from this campaign has been the meeting rooms that Pora uses.
Yeah, those are very descriptive.
Those have been really fun. Just being able to pop you random areas around the map. Some of them in places You haven't been yet.
Now, my favorite location is the new island in Frisia.
Oh,
And the
with
potential that brings to our party. Like,
yeah.
Listen, if she wakes back up, this planet's doomed. I don't. I'm not even trying anymore.
don't give the DM ideas, Mike.
No,
Come
no.
on
If he
now.
wants to end his own campaign, that's on him.
Bishop's literally just gonna unplug himself and be like, "This is
I'm going
somebody
back to
else's stuff."
Briarfork.
Yep.
Bye.
I'm gonna go self-destruct now.
I love the prospect of where they're going. Of course, in the first campaign, I wanted you guys. I'm always fascinated by the planes, the outer planes, in the cosmology of D&D. We just couldn't really fit it in the first campaign.
I'm really excited to explore that.
Yeah, obviously, Mechanus is a dream of mine. I really like Mechanus, and I think that's going to be entertaining for some. Maybe just one, maybe just me, but that one's going to be good. But I think even things like Plane of Fire are going to be fun. There's some interesting things there. I definitely have in my head that anyone who exists on the Plane of Fire, they're probably like all perpetual buttholes. Like that's just their thing. Because like it's I think of people who just live in a foundry. That's their life. That's Plane of Fire, right? It just sucks. It's just hot.
Right.
It's freaking dirty.
I was imagining, have you guys seen Howl's Moving Castle?
Yes.
I'm just imagining a whole planet of calcifers.
Right.
So I'll have to now watch that to get that reference.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope you can do a good Billy Crystal voice. That's all I can say.
Calcifer is not really a dick. Calcifer is like a cute, fun character.
There'll be time for those. Some of the places that the places you must go. But like yeah, there's a lot of opportunity in this one, especially with the airship. So
now you don't have to give any detail, but do you have in your notes a contingency for if we decided to just go into the astral sea and try and find Oz?
There's always a contingency. The difference between campaign 1 and campaign 2 is like, since campaign 1 like sprung out of nowhere from a one shot, campaign 2 I've thought more about like the world. So if you guys were to spring and go somewhere, I can survive until the session's over to get actual details because I know the story that is in those areas. So yes.
Now I've got a question. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. You go first.
If you were to spring up and go to like Waterdeep or something like that, I'd definitely have to pull some old notes out from other things. So
we go to Drakenwald.
Yeah. What'd you have, Jeff?
So you and I talked quite a bit about Justinian yesterday and a little bit more this weekend, and I just want to know not only your take while we're streaming, but also Mike's and Carlson's as well. So when Justinian started with the group, he was a 17-year-old who like literally lived in the same town his whole life, and when he met the group, at first there was almost like admiration for all of them because they were this real adventuring party and he was just bumbling through his powers. But the more he's traveled with the group and the more he's made mistakes and the more he's seen the party's mistakes and the party's consequences of their mistakes, I really feel like he's matured because the first like 10 or 12 episodes that Justinian was in, he didn't make any decisions at all. Like wherever the group went, he just rolled with it, and he's gotten more assertive in the last like 10-15 episodes, and he's really come out of his shell and he's starting to mature as a character. And I wanted your guys' thoughts on that. Like how has that felt watching this character grow with you guys, literally grow up as a young person?
You want to go first, Marsland?
Um, yeah, it's always fun watching a character progress. I think Justinian uh was a little uncertain of his place in the group at first and was like, yeah, I mean, you're the new person in the traveling party, and like a lot's going on, and we're start suddenly dealing with a lost character. Um, but yeah, it's cool to see him start to take on his own like the group's decisions has caused Justinian to come into his own character development arc as his own troubles have arisen, and it's gone from you had your own things and we're a separate part to now we're kind of like we've coalesced into we all have skeletons in the closet that we've helped each other stuff in there and are trying to sort it out.
I think right now, especially since Bishop is having his own personal crisis with the consequences and actions of what the party has done over and over and over again. Um, he's not a huge fan of Justinian right now. And a lot of that is because Justinian tends to open his mouth to people that he shouldn't be doing,
Much like
especially when
Marsland.
it comes to, well, I mean, but between Marsland, Bishop's issue with Marsland is like, we'll discuss something, we'll discuss a plan, and it's like, okay, this is what we're doing. This is as a team, this is what we've come up with. So we need to do this. And then Marsland goes and tells the entire plan to the person that he shouldn't be telling the plan to. And
You
I know
tell me
he's
not to
not,
tell him the plan.
and I get, again, I get that it's like he, in his head, he's just like, well, this is what we're doing. They asked me what we're doing. This is what we're doing.
That's what we're doing.
And Justinian, because he's such a young character, it's like Bishop feels he's trying to leverage things that he shouldn't be leveraging. Like telling people that, oh, yeah, this talking construct here, there's tons of them. And it's like, like to Bishop, it's like, why would he say that? That'd be like me going and saying, oh, here's Justinian's family. Take them, get their magic from all of them. Here they are. I'll even hand you the address. You know what I'm saying? So it's like Bishop's having issues with certain things that the party's doing, and it's really affecting, especially with like I said, with every time we fix something, we break four more things. And for him
It's
to be
not
like,
every time.
it's
It
90% of the time.
is
So it's
90% of the time. For example, he brought that up, and I instantly thought of Justinian's family's house getting ripped in half when we put one of the avatars back, and we destroyed a fifth of the city.
It was a small
right.
part.
And it wasn't even something that we knew it was going to happen. It just happened.
Right.
So yeah, it's like, going into Bishop's backstory where it's like we know that he was one of the commander set of automatons in these battles, and he's like, I've killed, many people, women, kids, all that kind of stuff. Then he spent so much time in solitude because he was basically almost destroyed. So now he's trying to not be that person, and it's like every time he tries to do something good, these bad things are happening. So it's like he's struggling with that on top of other party members doing certain things or saying certain things, and he's just like, again, it's like it's rough for me as a player to try to portray somebody who's a pacifist when I'm like, I have all these feelings. Like these are things that are going through my head. So yeah, I mean, and where Justinian is now with like the fact that he hasn't been able to talk to his God and things like that. It's just like yes, there's been progression, but it's like as a character, my character is like, what the hell is going on? Like, why am I still here with these people?
And I'll be honest with you, that's the way Justinian was with the group after Oz left. Like, I literally I had the conversation with Dress and I was like, I'm going to have to try to find somebody to attach to, because Oz is the only person that asked Justinian questions or asked him for input on things. And then once Oz was gone, it was like, okay, well, I owe the party help trying to help them find Oz. I owe them that because Oz saved his life. And then like over the course of that misadventure, uh Marsland and Justinian started bonding over their love of magic and learning about like magical items and magical things. And so
Well, I think there may have been a little bit of jealousy on Marsland's side that you just suddenly got all these powers.
Didn't have to work
I,
for him.
I think the funniest though is when Ferrandis gave me a book of spells on top of the ones that I had as a warlock, and the next day I'm like, hey, look, Marsland, I got a spell book just like you, but my patron just handed it to me.
What the heck?
Well, and that's the thing too, is like I know Bishop and Gwynton had, they were bonding a lot, and the way that the stories kind of progressed, it's Gwynton is kind of regressing a little bit with his religion. And I don't know, it's just the way Jeremy's playing it, but it's like, because it was, Bishop was like, I'm not leaving until we properly bury whatever it is we killed. Like if it had to be killed, then it needed a proper burial, things like that. And it's like as we progress, things like that have lessened. It's not as much of an import to him anymore. And I think for me, it's just Bishop's fluctuating between trying to stay somewhat to where he's trying to be a pacifist and reverting back to his old ways.
Watching our
Do
frames drop.
you have you thought about at all some sort of character growth or progression or anything with Bishop where he does kind of uh learn better how to deal with his past and leave the pacifist side behind him as he gains new values and understanding of the world?
I think that's why he's becoming a little more aggressive with what some of the things he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is I don't think that Bishop has a balance. Like I don't see as of right now, like the thing keeping him as a pacifist was he was in a small town. He was helping with the farming. He took on blacksmithing. He was busy work. There was a lot of stuff that he was just like, okay, I'm in my little piece of the world here. Oh, all of a sudden there's a plague. It's affected my, the child. So I got to save the child. And then seeing as, because we've traveled so much and all the things that we've encountered, I mean, his stance right now is kind of like he's starting to think maybe the Shadow Sparks were right. Maybe humans don't, these races don't deserve to be alive because there's so much going on. Like everywhere we go, Perrin's Folly is a big thing right now for him.
Gosh, could you imagine if Bishop went off and joined the Shadow Sparks?
He, okay, I'm gonna say he wouldn't do that, but he's realizing that life isn't Briar's Fork,
It's bigger.
Yes.
right?
It's a bigger world.
It's
It's not so simple.
right. And when you're in a place like Perrin's Folly where a member screwed up we tried to fix the problem. Because I mean, if you remember, most of us were like, "Here's Jade, arrest him. He did something criminal. Take him." And now coming back, well, finding out that they tried the guy and nothing came of it, they let him go.
Yeah.
So now he's like, well, now the justice isn't working. Now we're back there and we're getting treated the way we're being treated. Yes, we're finding out there's things playing into that, but me as a player playing Bishop, Bishop wants to, I mean, he wants to wipe this town off the map.
No,
A little fed up with it.
that's amazing. No, that is so good to hear because like when we had the encounter with the other automatons up with the orcs and then even more recently at Candor's Keep, it's really interesting because I was like, I want to know how Bishop is dealing with, like Jeff wants to know how Bishop is dealing with slaughtering what is essentially
His own people.
brothers and his
Right.
own people.
Yeah.
And I and Jeff wanted to know that, but Justinian really doesn't like Bishop very much and really doesn't care how Bishop feels.
Right.
Oh,
Well, no. I mean, seriously, like if you look at our interactions as characters, it is very much different than yours and my friendship in real life. Like
Right.
our two
Oh, yeah.
characters have totally different philosophies on life. And like you think that Justinian the Bishop thinks that Justinian is this like bumbling kid that can't quite make the right decision ever. And like literally Justinian, who was thinking that there was some sort of life, or soul to Bishop, has since his own maturity started thinking, no, Bishop is still just a program inside of a machine, and he really doesn't care about things. Like there's no consequence to his actions. He does whatever he is programmed to do.
No,
And
there's yeah,
Well,
and
well,
that's
see,
far from like he does not like the fact that he has to destroy his own people. Like
right.
well, you
there's
got
been a
to
couple
realize,
times where
like,
he's actually tried to be like, if they listen to me,
right, but like Justinian wasn't there to see your
go
What
interaction
ahead.
was
with
that?
him.
Yeah.
Your Justinian wasn't there to listen to your interaction with Luna or any of that stuff. In 15 seconds when you hear this message.
Right. And again, I mean, it's one of those things. It's um like I said, it's like there's been a couple times where it's like we've come across these other automatons and he's tried to be like, stop, you don't have to do this. And because
geez.
they are programmed by the Shadow Sparks to do all this mass destruction, like he has no other choice but to destroy them. And that's just another piece of that whole struggle he has with what's going on. Is it's like, yeah, he's literally having to kill his brothers and sisters because there's no way for him to reach them.
Yeah, I'm super happy to get to ask you that question player to player because like I've wanted to know, but I'm like, yeah, Justinian doesn't care. Like at this point, he doesn't believe that Bishop has a soul. Like and their interactions have been some of my favorite because like Justinian's like, oh, I'm gonna try to put out this olive branch, and then Bishop's like, I'm standing here, I'm doing this, and then when uh the talking ends with Bishop throwing a punch at somebody, he's like, okay, yep, there's the programming back again. It's crush your enemy and then figure out everything afterwards.
Yeah, I get that. The Hobgoblin was a big one. Like
Yeah. Absolutely.
We said we were going to try to negotiate, and you were doing a good job with the individual you had, but when the commander came out and was like, "Screw that," Bishop's like, "We're done."
But they weren't done. There were more options.
Yeah, a mass grave apparently.
Who's to say that arc
That's one of
is?
the things. Oh,
Who's
go
to
ahead.
say that arc is closed?
I would assume it's not, but that one was like those couple of sessions journeying up to the Drow encampment and the Drow encampment, like Justinian hadn't ever killed anything before that, and so like he took the being charged with the Fae because he had just found out, like, talked to Ferondis for the first time, finding out that he's some sort of nature champion. He took that to heart, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna kill these guys." Because Bishop got really pissed about Justinian slaughtering the last one that was alive, and I was like,
I
if
don't know. Did you? I thought they died because of the fairy or the spirit guardians.
no, there was one left alive, and
Okay.
both Bishop and Quentin got very, very upset with Justinian because he just walked over and was like, done.
Well, and that thing is too. Bishop didn't kill any of them. I was just knocking them out. They only
Spirit
died
Guardians
because
was killing
spirit
them.
guardians killed
Right.
them. Like at that point, Bishop wasn't trying to kill anybody. He just was like, negotiations are over. You're gonna do what we say.
It will be really interesting if Bishop and Justinian ever get to face Colton Frost, because that's the one thing they bonded over was
Right.
their mutual hatred of him over Oz.
He's
So
such a
it'll
nice
be real
guy.
interesting to see if that's the thing that finally ties our two characters together.
Yeah, Bishop does not like him at all.
He's such a good guy. He helped you out. He let you
Yeah,
took you all over the world.
that
He
man
did
didn't
do a
say
lot for
one
us.
nice thing to Bishop at all, ever.
Oh, he had no respect for Bishop.
None whatsoever. He treated him like a Maytag dryer. Like, I mean,
Well, with someone who's been around that long, I mean, he's seen, the other side, right? Like,
right. And I think that's one of the coolest things that we've gotten to now, because Annex, who I haven't seen him on the screen. I don't know what's going on, if he stepped off for a second, but
he went to make popcorn and play Final Fantasy.
oh, okay. But that's one of the interesting things is I think Annex was really the last thing, like or not the last thing. He was what the team needed to really make our group dynamic work.
Panda, it's not
Because
D&D. We're just talking about D&D. It's not the actual, like, campaign. We talked about Koi's comics that you didn't show up for.
but I mean, like Marslin and Justinian bonding, and then like Quentin's trauma, and now finally having somebody that he can feel related to with their worship of deities the way they do it. I think it, and like I think my favorite pairing of us though is definitely Bishop and Quentin. Like those two feel almost like brothers at most times.
Well, they're both half metal. So,
Well, and they had a from the beginning. It was like they had something that they were bonding over, like right out of the gate. And Bishop knows that Quentin made that sacrifice for a younger, person, especially one that Bishop cared about. So there was a lot of that was a big starting point for them.
I'd ask an Axamander a question, but he's probably in a cutscene.
I
But
saw a
even
short
like this last session, I mean, Annex and Bishop were talking, once he found out that they were in the same wars and stuff like that, some of the same, it's like when he brought up the whole mercenary thing, like I as a player understand where Annex is like, I'm not gonna offer these people a job,
Hmm.
in my army, knowing what they were. And Bishop's like, it's not like you have to tell them the truth. Like we're trying to, you know, get around and not be babysat so much. There's a job to be done here. So, there's a little butting of the heads in that last session with morality. I guess like you said, Bishop really doesn't have a morality. He's trying to this is
Well, yeah, I
we,
think
we're not going to do these things.
I think one thing that Bishop struggles with is like Bishop's not like studied on religion, right? So
No.
like in this last one where you just wanted to punch that priest in the face, I think it's harder for Bishop to understand why that priest is free when the islands themselves have a pretty loose policy on freedom of religion, right? So like them being able to convince them that like, hey, this is our religion, this is how we do things. All these people were willing and
Were they
nobody in
willing?
our yeah, yeah, that was always the I mean, even in the original, the older people were willingly offering themselves to make a cure for the younger folks in town, and we talked about that.
We did.
Um,
Yeah.
and but for Bishop, that's like, no, you're still killing. That's wrong. So like, I think that's a good dynamic of like, that's just the world he's not familiar with. And I'm
Mhm.
not sure anyone could explain that to Bishop because to him, murder is murder, death is death, right? It's very black and white. Everything's black
Yeah,
and white.
absolutely. Yeah.
And I think that's some of the subtle nuances of like he's so frustrated and feels like this guy got away with it, and this guy is just like, ha ha, like I wasn't doing
Eh,
anything wrong.
He's smug about it. He's like, oh,
Yes.
yeah, you guys drugged me off. And guess what? They sent me right back. And now I'm even more powerful than ever.
And Panda, I maybe next year, maybe later this year. I don't know. We got to find the details, but I know you couldn't make this one this last weekend, but maybe there'll be another one this year. Who knows? But yeah, can continue.
So no, that's what I mean. That's a lot of it too. Is it's like, Bishop is lawful, I believe. It's been a minute since I've
I
looked at
think
the
so.
alignment. So yeah, it's like he sees, this guy broke the law. This guy,
In his
it's one
eyes,
thing when
yeah.
it's like and yeah, in his eyes, this guy broke the law. And especially when it's like, okay, Jade started a fire. They had a whole trial. So, like, okay, you're going to try to crucify us for doing, well, us for doing, for the sins of one person when you have this guy who's like, I'm killing everybody and I'm only going to give the cure to the people on my little island.
Yeah, one of
And he got
those
away with
things
it.
is
That's
so
to Bishop, that's a problem.
it's very much that religious ideology that like obviously my background is in that, right? So it's this idea that they live in this society. All of them are part of that religion. You guys come in as outsiders. You cause what to them is chaos, obviously hurting their industry and such. But you're non-believers as well. Like they're not happy with this entire situation, right? If one of them had started the fire, it would have been like, oh, this is what the gods wanted. They wanted us to start over. But with an outside force coming in, it's very culty in that sense of those religions that just believe really weird. And it makes sense that Bishop
Right.
wouldn't
And I understand. It's
like it
also,
wouldn't
it's
make
like the
sense.
person
Yeah.
that did it lied.
Yeah. Yes, they did. Ah.
But it's like, and he's seeing stuff like the temple at Candor's Keep really didn't, in Bishop's eyes, didn't put any kind of importance to it. And then finding out that the courts were like, he said he didn't do it, so we let him go. So now he's not only is he like, okay, this is a religious thing, and the religion aspect doesn't care about it. Now the justice, which he's putting his faith in, isn't doing anything either.
In his eyes, yeah, for sure.
In his eyes, yes.
So yeah, it makes for a precarious situation. It's either really good writing or really bad writing. There's no in between on this.
It's definitely a dramedy being part of this group.
That's D&D though, right?
Light on
Like,
Sparkers is like, oh no, absolutely, it's perfect.
the comedic moments have been fantastic. I know there's a lot of times we bust out. I still remember probably the funniest moment in campaign. Mummy was like, "I haven't peed in 4 years." You know, like that
was great. What's a bathroom?
Such a great moment, and there's been many in this one too. And I love while we have
As
these
Grayson's peeing down his pants.
right. While we have these,
Another one of my favorites was
go ahead.
Was that circular dungeon we were in where we got separated, and Zoromir got separated, and we ended up running around in circles chasing each other, and he thought everybody was gone and had left him.
Wait, you guys had a Scooby-Doo scene in season 1?
We did. It
Oh
was,
Yeah.
my god.
Yeah,
laughed
unintentionally.
so hard. It's like, where have you guys gone?
Basically, it was a dungeon with one-way doors, so you couldn't go back through there. So that he was coming out as they
Yeah.
were going in. It just kept going. Oh man, I think for me some of the funny ones is of course Marsland with the ship.
Mhm.
It reminds me of another campaign that me and Mike were in with the ghost in the house, where he's like, "There's no ghost."
Yeah.
'Cause
This
it would-
hotel is haunted. No, it's not. There's always there's always a scientific explanation. I see a ghost. No, you don't.
Because it was the only one. He's the only one who hadn't seen it, and that's the way that the ship feels. Is like it's
Yeah.
only talking to you.
What do you mean the ship talks? Is the wizard okay?
Well, we knew the answer to that before you told us the ship talked.
Well, there was that.
Oh man.
But yeah,
Now
I love.
I have to ask.
Okay,
Sorry, go ahead.
no, go for it.
So what has been like Marsland's most heroic moment to you, Carlson? Like where do you really feel like the character paid off?
Oh, Marsland's not a hero. In no way, shape, or form of that word. He is.
No, you don't feel like there's ever been a point where Marsland's been like, hey, I'm really contributing here with this. Like the party couldn't have done this without me.
Marsland is. I mean, I'm trying to think as like a player, a moment like that.
He doesn't really think.
I mean,
that
I think,
way.
yeah, Marsland doesn't understand what an ego is. Like the way he is raised in this Simic Combine facility is basically just like everything is done. I mean, you go back to the Oga Boga conversation where he's like, my friends are the books. Well, obviously the books is like that you need to save that. He thinks of things in terms of like the larger the greater good of the society. I forget where I was going with this.
Heroic moments was what the question was.
Yeah, I struggling to think of like a heroic moment. I think the biggest thing has just been the support of building that foundation with the academy, which has been fun. And like that's been where a lot of our leads have come throughout the campaign, is those interactions with
It really
Cora.
has. It's become a home base for you guys.
Yeah, it's kind of like the mission checkpoint update of go there, drop off our whatever we collected, blow Pora's mind with whatever dumb shit we got into,
So
But
How many times do you think?
oh, sorry,
Oh,
go ahead.
So how many times do you think she's just like, how are these fuckers still alive?
Right?
Every time.
as the
Every
person who
time.
plays her, a lot. Like,
But
um,
my favorite Marsland was definitely when we were on the island the first time and we were racing against Mr. Shadowspark himself, and you did that mold earth over the tunnel we went in, because knowing how Drastin DMs, you saved us from having an encounter with him. Like, we got on that ship and you activated it, and like in the time it took you to get that ship up and flying, he was in our sights. We were going to have to fight him. If
Yeah, that was definitely a good buzzer beater moment for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about you for Justinian?
Honestly, the battle with Athan Shadowspark, because literally, other than Pora, nobody could get to him except for Justinian.
Yeah.
And so, like, her and Justinian blasting away at Athan. I mean, I know that like 40 damage was not doing crap to him compared to what she was probably doing, but like knowing I was chipping away at his armor and keeping him from getting to the rest of you guys, that was my moment, like where I was like, okay, Justinian has found himself, you know.
Yeah. You did work there. Marsland during that battle, remember that character from, I think it was Scary Movie, where he's like, "Here, take my strong hand."
yep, yep.
That was basically Marsland through that fight. So Justinian really, the effort was appreciated.
Well, between him going down and Annex going down, it was like Bishop had to spend all of his time running around the battlefield trying to heal everybody.
Heal.
Yeah, you were healing literally our cleric, and Marsland, and then beating up the smaller cultists at the same time. That was a really cool moment for Bishop too, because you're like, I punched this cultist, and then I'm running over here and I'm picking Gwenton back up. That was a really cool battle. I think it's one of the best ones that we've had.
The amount of times, of course, as you guys go up in level, and it's something I've always impressed on you as you get up in level, you're fighting things that are more apt to just literally kill you guys, and the amount of times that it's come within a round or two is astronomical. Like, you get knocked down and they're right there, and I'm looking at, here's the ability, here's the intelligence of the creature, here's their frustration level with that particular player, and like a pseudo taunt, and I'm like, oh, if it makes it to his turn, they're done. And
I mean, we nearly lost Bishop a session or two ago.
Yeah,
right?
just a few sessions ago. Yeah,
and he would have been done. Like, they were
Yeah.
definitely going in on this. Like, the danger aspect, you guys are at that level of like intelligent fighting or like voracious fighting stuff, and that gets a little more terrifying on this side, because I know we get so attached to the characters and the things that are going on, and there's a story to finish there. Like, Oz killed me. It really did. I thought that'd be a fun little arc. I didn't expect it to go the way it did, but that's D&D. You never know like what's actually happening.
See, and that see, that kind of goes back to what I was talking about. It was like every time Oz raged, something magical happened.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, now he's got this deck of many things, and it's like every time he pulls a card, something happens. And I'm sitting there and I'm like,
something unexplainable happens.
Yeah, and I'm like, he keeps pulling cards. It's like, wait a minute, at what point do you not, you're like, hey, when I do this, something happens.
Oh, right. Every single piece of my magical inventory.
Yep,
just disappeared.
Gone. Yeah.
Anyway.
Because he had a lot of bad stuff happen when he raged. It's like he'd rage and something bad would happen. And I'm not talking about like just gender swapping or whatever, but it's
that
like
was best.
There were
Those
times
are so funny.
that, it's like he would do something and something bad would happen. And of course, this is always my luck. It always happens to like Bishop. It's like anytime something goes wrong, or chaos is used, it's always like, oh, it's Bishop's turn next.
Shit.
when Oz got in the fist fight in the bar, and raged and turned into a woman, I couldn't have wrote that. Like
Right.
it was just so amazing.
It's like everybody stops fighting. Bishop's just standing there like,
Of course, it's just everything. It's just everything hanging out, you know, like because he didn't wear his shirt.
He only
or
had a
anything.
loincloth.
Yeah. And the guy's just like, sorry, ma'am. You know, it's just- oh
So
God.
what moments made Bishop like come into his own? Like what's your favorite Bishop moment, Mike?
I think I think most of it's the RP. I
Mhm.
think once we ended up going back to Briar Fork and healing Luna, the RP with that was really a big thing. Some of the RPs he's had with individual players have been decent. Action wise, I mean, he's not strong, so it's like it's just one of those.
He says that as he does 40% of the damage on every creature they fight.
But
Right.
that's not a strength. That's Dex. That he's fast.
Right, but I mean, Marsland's heroicism is often measured in that clutch spell that he casts. You know that we needed.
Magic missile.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he can hit multiple times, I would say, I think the one I think back on the most is when they were trapped in the house and the um, gelatinous cubes, and he pretty much sacrificed his hands.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was he could barely climb the ladder to get out.
Oh my God. I will tell you, like, I felt so bad having given Drastin that gelatinous cube trap and then seeing the carnage. Oh my God.
Well, no, this was in the underground under
Yeah.
Smyrna, the old city.
Oh,
Old
okay.
Smyrna.
Yeah, this one was Old Smyrna.
It was
where-
black pudding.
Oh God.
And he just started punching it, and I'm like, at the time he didn't have magic fists, so it was like,
I thought you were talking about when the gelatinous cube trap that I had given Drastin
No,
had everybody in the party trapped except for you. Like that was
Yeah, I mean that.
intense.
Well, I mean that one wasn't intense, but yeah, I would say the one that
Black
I
pudding?
think of is a black pudding because it was I knew what was happening to Bishop every time I hit, but I'm like I can't not hit, so it's like I think I would. That was like one of the only times I went through all my key points too because I was just like I've got to take this thing out.
yeah.
Drastin, your favorite moment of campaign 2, whether it's combat or RP?
There's a lot of moments I liked a lot. It's not a secret that I like that heavy emotional RP as well as I do the funny moments. The funny moments are great. I thought the Luna stuff was good, you know, but probably like the Pora reveal was one of my favorites.
Oh my
Like,
God.
you know, I don't know how, and you guys might have already known. I know Mike was like pretty close to guessing that. I don't know about everybody else, but like, you know, that reveal of this person they've been working with being someone who's got a name of people they hate, that they name themselves after hating. You know, I thought that was pretty interesting. And then what followed afterwards, with that, and how strongly, like, there was no bickering when you guys went to fight for Pora. Like, you all were like full in to that conversation. There was no like, let her fate take her. You were all like, this isn't right. She's not a bad person. And I think that was also a realization for the whole party of like, well, maybe not all the Shadow Sparks are bad. But I really enjoyed that moment. So was for you guys, was that a more shocking moment, or was that like, we kind of figured that anyways?
Well, like
At
you
some
said,
point.
I
Go ahead.
kind of, yeah, like you said, I was on that path.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was kind of like, when you were having that conversation, and I was like, wait a minute, how is it that Bishop saw her? He's had visions of her. Like, how did he not know that was not her? And you're like, you explained it with, we altered your memory and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Because I was like, I fucking knew it.
Yeah, there was a lot of distrust. Marsland had full faith in Drusilla, and everybody else was like, "Ooh, should we be telling her all this stuff?"
Well, if you remember, like Justinian turned to Marsland when she revealed who she was, and he was like, "See, I told you
Mhm.
that she was hiding something."
And she was trustworthy all along.
She had a good reason.
She had a very good reason.
I don't think there's anyone Marsland doesn't trust, though.
Right, and that's the thing.
I have this
Crow.
bridge.
There
I
you
don't know
go.
if that was a distrust thing or that was you just didn't like her because she was not.
Creepy.
She didn't know how to handle.
Well, no, Marsland started
books.
locking the door to the library.
Well,
Didn't
yeah,
trust
because
Crow to stay out of there.
she was tearing pages out of books.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like that's not so much of I didn't trust her. It was like she's destroying the things I love.
I
Right.
mean, I think it's one and the same. Marsland wouldn't trust Crow with anything.
Well,
Yeah, I
And then
think it's
Justinian
probably
gives her
good
a
for your,
dagger.
huh?
And then Justinian gives her a dagger
A rapier.
or rapier.
A
Yeah.
rapier.
What could go wrong?
I gave her studded leather armor, a rapier, and a short bow, and I was pretty sure that she was more dexterous than Bishop. Like Jeff was pretty sure that.
I was gonna say I
that-
can't climb around on walls. I
Right,
can run on
exactly.
them, but I can't climb around.
She was literally the girl from The Ring.
But yeah, the poor real reveal was great, and I think one of the best moments though for me as far as like your like storyline reveal stuff so far was the pillars, like when the air pillar called us up and was like, if my brothers and sister do not go back to sleep, I'm gonna wipe out the material plane just to make sure that they can't. I was like, oh, okay.
Well, yeah, the ideology behind the pillars was you've got this older sister, right? And then you've got the smaller brothers and sisters that all they freaking do is fight and cause problems and destroy mom's house, right? Like that's what it is. And you guys know that from the first campaign with Ishtab, like he didn't care about what got broken in the way as long as he got what he wanted. And that was brought to light with the orb that he wanted, right? Like he literally just wanted to flood out Kandor's Keep to piss somebody else off. Like there was they just don't get along. That's why she brought you guys in and like, hey, either you take care of it or I'm taking care of it. Like, but I'm not letting these people affect anyone else's life. Like so that was fun. Um for that.
Again, that comes back to Bishop too. He's like, we're doing all these things, and nobody believes that we're doing it.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point?
Well, every time you guys do these things, right? It's in the darkest dungeon or furthest land, right? It's like off somewhere where nobody else knows. Now, who's to say that your legend hasn't grown
Literally inside
in
the back of a critter.
right? Like your legend may have grown in Governor's Den, right? Because there were people who saw you do it. The troops saw you do it. They all came back, but the growth to Kandor's Keep would be a lot slower because it happened over there, and then you got to wait for the tales to make it here.
Hey, by the way, there's a new island. Don't let anybody go over. Nobody touches it.
Yeah. So yeah, there'll be more good moments. Still early. I mean, it's only been what, 3 years.
Have you guys been playing for that long? In
This campaign. Yeah.
Really? Yeah. Wow. That's crazy.
It's been 3 years.
I think it's
Well,
3
you know,
years
how many
this
months have we
year.
only played 1 day out of the month? And
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it's not nonstop.
running
I mean,
into running
we'll
into
just
a
do the
lot of
math. Episode 100's coming up. So that's 100 weeks. There's 52 in a year. So,
That's 2 years.
but we didn't play every week. So,
Yeah.
especially around the holidays, because we usually take breaks around the bigger holidays. But yeah, I hope I hope all of you are enjoying it. I think there's some fun stuff coming as we head towards the end of all this. Eventually. So I think ideally I'd like to be about done at this time next year.
You think we're gonna get there?
The way you guys are going, I think so. Maybe before that.
Okay.
So
With all the other planes travel and everything.
yeah, I think so. I have some ideas for the next one, but there will be a bigger break between this campaign and if we do a third campaign, whenever that happens.
well, I don't know if Jeremy talked to you this weekend at all. I know Jeremy and I were talking about a third campaign, and we are like, you know what would be fun is if we were all like friends from one town and we just kept getting like bounties and stuff from like the taverns and
Yeah,
more of a laid back campaign, and maybe the stuff that we're stopping is like interrupting bigger plans by a bigger baddie.
Yeah,
Maybe not end of the world type crap, a third campaign.
I would be game for a more jovial one.
yeah. Well, this one, yeah. It
It
was
it'd
there.
just be like a toss up, something
Yeah.
different, a laid back campaign where it's like, okay, yeah, you guys are at the bar just drinking it up, and somebody comes in and posts a wanted poster up, and you're all like, let's go do that. I need more drinking money.
Yeah, you guys kind of like tackled onto the plague stuff really fast, faster than anticipated, which kind of ramped things up quickly. So, but it's slowed
It was
down
just
now.
stuff we were talking about, because it's like that'd be kind of cool just to be like, yeah, you're just a bunch of kids that grew up in the same town.
And like, well, I've thrown that out before, right? Of like, do you guys know each other? Who knows each other at the start? Like, I've never blocked that.
Right.
So,
Well, and Jeff and I talked about that before this trip too. It was like, maybe we do a session 0 and be like, hey, what do we really want to do, like with the characters? Because like this campaign,
yeah,
in all honesty, let's be honest. This is not a cohesive team.
No, but I think that's part of the best, funniest part about it is the fact that we aren't. Somehow we're stuck together.
Yeah.
Well,
I think,
and
but
you look
I
at
agree. I think a buddy cop movie for campaign 3 would be hilarious.
you look at other mainstream groups, a lot of them aren't cohesive either. So that I have less of an issue with. But yeah, I don't care how you all do it. It doesn't affect me at all.
No, it's just something to discuss.
Yeah. All right. That's all I got in me. You guys got anything else?
Oh no, I am ready for bed. I was so hyped Saturday after Coys that, like you said, 2 o'clock, and then like I woke up a half hour like later than Quentin did, and I was ready to go. And then I drove all the way home, and I was still so hyped from the weekend. I mean, it's just a great energy every time we're up in Michigan and we're running D&D for new players.
It's always a good time. Can't wait to Can't wait to do it again. Can't wait to do it locally. So hopefully
I'm
we can-
trying, man.
Yeah,
I've
I
gone to
know.
a couple of things. I've tried to see how things would work out, and we just haven't.
Well, the
We
Middletown
have
Comic
more of
Con's
the.
coming up in a couple months, right? Like, or is it-
See, I've not heard anything else about a second one. I like they said they had a decent turnout last year, but I went and that was a huge spacing issue. Like they changed the venue
yeah,
almost, midway through it from the pretty much vacant mall, which had plenty of space, to the university, which didn't have any space. Um, and well, even my local comic store, Crooked Dogs, they've got a regular. Apparently, they got a couple regulars because they took my advice and separated it into a kids session and an adults only session. And apparently it's working out great for them for that. So it's like it's just a matter of, do you have time? Do we have a one shot and things like that? But it's like even that there's only so much space for, there's one table. That's it.
yeah.
So there's not all the stuff we get, Cincinnati and stuff is actual cons. So it's like we don't have any affiliation with any of that.
All right. Well, we're going to close it out with our horrible connection we've had all night. So thanks for suffering through that. Those of you who are
Oh,
listening, you'll have a
Tristan,
nice.
we forgot
cinema.
one thing.
Well, I
We forgot
know
one thing.
we've got some stuff coming up, some special surprises coming up for 100th
Yes.
episode.
Yes.
I hadn't forgot
there
yet.
we go.
I was careening that way.
Okay. My bad.
But go
I wanna
ahead.
make sure. No, you go ahead.
No,
it's
we're
fine.
there. We're there. Go.
Okay. Okay, yeah, you got it. So, guys, April 21st will be our 100th episode of Campaign 2. We're going to be doing a couple of giveaways for sure. And a couple of them might be sponsored. We're waiting for a final list of who our sponsors are all going to be, and we'll be posting them to our socials. But make sure to tell everybody that you know that watches our stream that on April 21st for the 100th episode, we're going to be doing some giveaways, and a couple of them will be sponsored.
Yeah. We'll have more information on social media when we've nailed all those details down. So, as always, don't forget to check out Banter and Babble. They've got a variety of content going on. You can find one of the one shots adventures we did this last weekend there, and check out Half-Ass Beer Review for the latest in beer news and entertainment, and also Truth Beer and Consequences. Jesus, guys, that's hard to say. For local Cincinnati area beer reviews. So hopefully I'm going to get to hang out with them soon as well. So this was good tonight. Got to talk about some coys, some things on the adventure front, and we will be back in the dungeon next week on Monday with everyone here, except maybe an Axamander because he disappeared about an hour ago. And I don't know if he fell asleep, was kidnapped in his hotel room, or the place caught on fire. So thoughts and prayers for whatever happened to him. But it might. But until next time, we'll see you in the dungeon. Take care.
Where demons haunt and fright, everyone stands afraid to fight against the evil.